So much media, so little time. Who keeps track of it all? That would be me. This is Bob Andelman, and this is the Mr. Media Interview, broadcast and recorded live on blogtalkradio.com from the new media and baseball capital of the world, St. Petersburg, Florida.
I'll show y'all. I don't need this suit. And I don't need this helmet neither.
To preserve her. How long can she stay like that?
I don't know.
Sandy's a girl?
Oh, come on. Anyone can do cartoon voices. Here, check this out.
Bobby, go down to the market and get me some cigs. Bobby, give Aunt Ida a little kiss.
Dad?
Rachel, don't interrupt. I'm doing a show here.
Dad, you're embarrassing me. Let me introduce our guest.
Our guest? Since when is she our guest?
Since you invited me to be your co-host, remember?
Oh, right. All right, go ahead then.
She's been a dancer and an actress, and now she's the voice of several popular animated characters, including Cindy Vortex on The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius and Sandy Cheeks on SpongeBob Squarepants, both on Nickelodeon.
Rachel, you forgot to mention that our guest is also the voice of Orel on Moral Orel.
Maybe I would have mentioned it if you and Mom would let me stay up late enough to watch Adult Swim on the Cartoon Network. Anyway, she's done commercials for Toyota, McDonald's, 7-Eleven, and more. You've also heard her voice in video games such as Spyro, Resident Evil 4, and EverQuest. And you've seen her on episodes of Caroline in the City, Seventh Heaven, and Muscle. Her movie credits include characters in Little Man Tate and Vampires Anonymous. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome actress Carolyn Lawrence to Mr. Media.
Hello. You did a great job, Rachel. Thank you.
Thank you. So I have a question. What's it like to be the voice of an animated character?
Well, it's really fun because you're not confined by what you look like. So it's fun to be able to play so many different people.
And Carolyn, this is Rachel's dad jumping in for a minute. Welcome to the show.
Yes, hi, Mr. Media.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
She did a pretty good job, I think.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I imagine it's kind of a jaw-dropping moment for kids who may overhear you in the supermarket or a restaurant and go, Mom, Mom!
Well, it's funny. They don't usually recognize me just when I'm talking. But, yeah, if I do a character, sometimes it goes one of two ways. Either they get really excited and then they're silent because they're shocked, or they get totally confused and they think I'm crazy and there's no way that can be the character because the character's real on TV and not some lady at the grocery store.
Oh. So it happens occasionally, I'm guessing, then.
Yes. It's just funny when the parents get excited and they try to, it depends on the age of the kids, you know. Sometimes they can't compute. They really think Sandy's real, so they don't know why I'm talking like her.
Well, yeah, and I'm hoping we're not going to give anything too much away here that will spoil the illusion for any children that are listening. But
yes.
We'll see.
Well, obviously she is real.
Well, of course. Sounds real to me. Rachel, what would you like to know?
Well, what do you do when you're not working?
Oh, I'm always working, Rachel. It's interesting being an actress because it's no different than being a small business owner, being self-employed. So when I'm not recording a show, I'm probably out auditioning trying to get a new show.
Oh.
So it's pretty much just a cycle.
Yes, exactly. So I spend all day either working that way or working trying to get that work. It's kind of a never-ending process. But that's part of the fun. It's always new and different.
How long have you been doing voices?
Gosh, probably 15 years or so.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it was a complete fluke when I was dancing and somebody asked me to audition for the voice of a stuffed animal. And I went and I auditioned. I had no idea that that was even a career. And I didn't even know exactly what he meant. I just figured if he was giving me opportunity, I would go audition, you know. And I got the job, and that was that. So I've been working ever since. I've been really lucky.
Wow. And when someone tells you that you've got a great voice for cartoon characters, is that a good thing, or do you slap them?
Well, I'd say at this point in life, it's a great thing. It's brought me a fantastic career. No, I don't know. I always liked that I sounded unique. I always took pride in that. That's how I came into this world on this planet. You know, I didn't ever think it was a negative. Mm-hmm. I did have a high school counselor that thought it was a negative.
Oh, really? Tell me about that.
When I went in for my, meeting that they do in high school where they talk to you about what you want to do in life and what you want to be and colleges and all of that, when I went in for that meeting, he said to me, I just have to be honest with you, Carolyn, and say that I really think that unless you get some vocal training to start speaking a different way, you're never going to be taken seriously. And so, looking back, that's hilarious, you know?
Yeah. Now, were you a funny kid in school?
No, I was very quiet. I was quiet and shy and good.
Okay, we'll let that part go at that. Yeah, good. Okay.
No, I was very by the book. You know, I still am to a certain extent, but I was not the funny kid who was rebel-rousing. That didn't come out till later.
So you were not a class clown? I
was not a class clown. Actually, a few years back, my mom said to me, I don't know exactly when you became funny.
Oh, thanks, Mom. Wow.
But I took that as the positive of she thinks I'm funny now. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, I can see that.
Right?
I can see that.
No, I think it's because I was always so shy that people didn't know that I had humor.
Ah.
You know, I was funny in my brain.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to give some of our listeners a chance. I'm hoping word got out, and maybe some kids will call, or some grown-ups. That would be fine.
Is it hard? Yes.
Yeah. If you've got a question for Carolyn Lawrence, the voice of Cindy Vortex on The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, and Sandy Cheeks on SpongeBob Squarepants, and, of course, my daughter forgot, Orel on Moral Orel on Adult Swim, give us a call, 646-595-3135. Carolyn, is it difficult getting into character?
You know, sometimes it is. It depends. Usually for each character, I kind of have a catchphrase that helps me get there. With Orel, it's so embarrassing always to... All right, let me find him just a second. It's Mr. Figarelli. That's usually... And the recording engineers probably get really sick of me saying Mr. Figarelli 5 million times a day when I'm playing him. But, yeah, usually there's just something that triggers that person. If you're playing a lot of different characters in one day, it can get really confusing.
Does that happen often?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially with video games.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you might be hired to do different voices on the same game.
Right. There's a game out there called EverQuest. And the day I recorded that, I think I played 10 different people.
Oh, my.
And I still don't even know who I am. Like, I couldn't even begin to tell any of your listeners which ones I may be, because it was all a blur.
Oh, my. Rachel, did you have another question for Carolyn?
Yeah, about getting into character, actually. When you're recording, do you, make certain movements to help you get into character at all?
Yeah, that's a good question, Rachel. I actually... because I used to be a dancer, probably I might be more physical than a lot of other talent that are at the microphone. And especially with Sandy, you know, when she's doing karate or she's being very physical, I tend to do the same exact thing in the booth. And hopefully I won't knock over the mic, which occasionally happens. But yeah, it helps a lot. It helps, we all joke, even when your character's saying goodbye, Everybody waves, even though nobody's watching.
Really?
It just helps when you're physical.
Yeah, because like when you don't do anything, you're just saying words with emphasis on something.
Exactly. It wouldn't sound as good. It wouldn't sound the same to the listeners. Yeah, right. They can tell. Are you an actress, Rachel?
Not really. I mean, just started this year. I got the lead in a school play, but I don't know.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, then you are. That's it. You're already an actress. You were already cast. There you go.
Did you go to school for acting, Carolyn, or?
I didn't. I was really lucky that I had always been a performer since I was a kid with dance classes and local plays and, you know, singing and things like that. So I didn't have formal, specific acting training. Mm-hmm. And when I came out to L.A. and I started working, I started to get nervous that maybe I should have had some. Somehow I started to feel a little less than when I met other actors who could rattle off all the training that they've had. Mm-hmm. And so I went and I took a course, and the teacher said, why mess with what's working? If you're already working and you're enjoying yourself, then don't mess with it. Just keep doing what you're doing. So that was great.
Now, Rachel mentioned three of the main characters that you're known for, Sandy Cheeks, Cindy Vortex, and Orel. What other characters have you done outside of those three?
Oh, gosh. I don't even know
Quite
if
a few,
can remember. Right, I don't know that I can remember everybody. I did a wonderful series called Sidekicks where I played a girl named Hannah, and we recorded a full, I don't know, 2 or 3 seasons worth of shows, and it has never aired.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, and it was the craziest experience. We had a phenomenal cast, and the show is wonderful, and I still think it's wonderful, and I still think it would do well because it's action hero-y. But it just didn't. I don't know. For some reason, it didn't sell. I don't think. But maybe it will now.
Yeah. Well, good point. Get my agent working on that.
Right. Recently, I just did a pilot for another new show called Fish and Chips, and hopefully that'll go. I play opposite Wayne Knight, if you guys know him from Seinfeld.
Of course.
He played Chips, and I played Fish. And we had a fantastic time.
Is that also animated?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting in animation because you can work consistently and do a lot of shows, but a lot of them don't reach the level of success, you know, that some of these have. And I've just been so lucky. Well,
you mentioned that. I guess most people are curious. Do you participate in the success that these shows have had in some way?
Well, I'm getting to talk to you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening tonight. I think that's everything we needed to hear. Man.
I do, and then I get to travel the world, and I get to meet a lot of wonderful people, and I have income, but I don't get to participate necessarily financially. As, you know, like in a dream world, sure. In a dream world, I'd love to have a piece of merchandising and all that, but typically actors don't.
So on SpongeBob, for example, you know, when I can go and play something like this.
Sometimes that SpongeBob is as dumb as a sack of peanuts.
Now I know that, you know, that's a random audio clip, and you don't get paid for that. But I mean, with all the times that the shows air, do you not collect, you know, some kind of a performance royalty for the repeats?
Oh, sure. We get residuals, and it's a very complicated mathematical calculation.
Okay.
We do get paid every time it airs.
All right.
It is a declining scale.
Right, I've heard that. Yeah.
And that's actually one of the reasons the writers and actors and everybody have been striking and doing all their craziness, is to try to keep that going.
Did you benefit from the strike in that way?
No, well, the strike was just for the writers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, there's been some actors' actions or
right. We're trying now. Yes, that's why luckily we're still in negotiations. Both sides are still talking. They're still trying to work it out. But that is, if unfortunately we did strike, that would probably be why.
Mm. Well, we've got a caller here who's been very patient, who's also in our web chat. This would be Mr. Showtime. You've got a question or comment for Carolyn Lawrence.
Good evening, Mr. Mead. How are you?
Good. Good to have you.
And nice to meet you, Miss Lawrence. It's very nice to meet you as well.
You. Thank you.
Yeah. My question is, video games or animation?
Which one do I prefer, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. That is difficult because they're so different. Let me think about that. Video games are really fun because usually there's a lot of fighting and a lot of drama. So those characters are fun to play for that reason. And animation generally is fun to play because of the comedy. So there's such different genres. I don't know that I could pick one.
Which pays better?
Okay.
Animation pays far better than video games.
Okay.
So if I was going on a pure monetary thing, probably straight animation.
Okay.
But video games are a whole world of, the fans are phenomenal, so that's really fun. And like I said, getting to go into those other worlds and fight battles, and that's really cool.
Did you have another question for Carolyn?
Actually, yeah, if I may. Regarding Resident Evil 4, who approached you to do the game?
I auditioned for that. I auditioned for that through a casting director that I know. And luckily it worked out, and that was wonderful. They were great to work with.
Well, it turned out to be a very tremendous game, so...
Yeah.
It turned out to be a really good game, so I imagine it was good for you.
Oh, it was fantastic. I, unfortunately, am not a very good gamer myself, so I can't ever seem to get to the levels where I get to see much of her. So I'll have to get better. But yeah, that's very fun, and I'm glad it's done as well as it's done. I kept hoping they would have her back, but they haven't yet.
Yeah. Well, regarding Resident Evil, I think if I may be upsetting some of the Resident Evil fans, I'm getting this wrong, but I think the story changes from time to time. So they have different people doing different things, and so I don't know when we're going to see Ashley again, or if we're ever going to see her again.
Right. I was just hoping they'd give her a shot because she was so wimpy in that game, and I wanted her to be able to come back and stand up for herself instead of always waiting for Leon to rescue her.
Yeah, I know it became a chore after, it was okay the first time, but then when it comes to like the second and the third time, it just became a chore, and it's just...
Yes, you're like, Ashley,
sorry for putting you down.
That's true. That's funny.
All right. Well, Mr. Showtime, thank you very much for calling in. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
That's funny. I think there was a poll taken online, and Ashley was the #1 character that the gamers wanted to kill.
Sorry.
No, I thought it was great. I was like, oh my gosh, I'd want to take her out too.
Oh, man. Well, let's see. That opens up a line if anyone would like to call in, and you've got a question for Carolyn Lawrence, the voice of Cindy Vortex on The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, and Sandy Cheeks on SpongeBob Squarepants, and Orel on Moral Orel. Give us a call, 646-595-3135. Rachel, I bet you have a question for Carolyn.
Yes, I do. Do you know anything about the recording equipment you use or how to create the animations?
You know what? I'm embarrassed to say I don't know actually the technicalities of our recording equipment. I do. One of the nice things about how we record on all 3 of those shows in particular is that we do record together. Like we're doing a play, we all sit in the room at our microphones so that we can improv and play with each other. Not all shows record that way. Some shows record everybody separately. But it's so much more fun to have everybody in the room.
What about, like, when you're recording and there's only, like, you and Tom Kenny need to be there? Are there other people there, too? Or is it just you guys?
No, it would just be us. If the story, it depends on the script. So whoever's in that script in that scene is in the room.
Okay.
Yeah. But sometimes we all hang out just because we actually have fun. I mean, if I'm only in one scene in an episode, I might stay anyway just to hang out because it's a good time.
Do you, Carolyn, do you, what comes first, the chicken or the egg here? Is it the animation or the voices?
No, for us, it's the voices in what they consider original animation, which is those 3 shows. You record your voices first, and then the animators animate to you. And that's part of the great thing about what we do is the freedom. So whatever we come up with, whatever you add to the character, if the character's running or jumping or falling, all of those sounds give the animator something to draw to. And I prefer working that way for the most part. A lot of anime that's out there, which is such a beautiful art form, most of it's done in Japan or Korea, and when they bring it over here, the animation's already finished, and then you're just laying the voice in on top of the picture. That's a little more limiting because then you have to make it fit what's already been drawn.
So do you have some flexibility when you get a SpongeBob or a Jimmy Neutron script to improvise a little bit?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're lucky that our writers are so phenomenal, but if you have an idea, if you have something that you think is going to make it more fun or any kind of idea, you can throw it out there. Usually one of the writers is in the room, and they'll let you try.
Have there ever been episodes that have been somewhat or largely more improvised than the original script might have implied?
No, usually it's just little beats, little things that we think are funny. Tom, who plays SpongeBob, is so hilarious that usually he's the one. If anybody's going to go off and improv a huge chunk, it's probably going to be him.
Yeah. Now, no one can hear us, so I'm just wondering if maybe you want to just tell, Rachel and myself.
Oh, sure.
Something about Tom, for example, that no one knows.
Gosh, that no one knows?
Like how he does the laugh.
He shows that. Have you ever seen him do it?
No.
He's got a whole crazy method to the laugh that entails using his hand on his Adam's apple.
Really?
Yeah, Tom is a true musician. That's something that maybe you guys don't know. He has a band called Tom Kenny and the Booze Hounds. And they are phenomenal, and he's a very gifted musician. And I feel like he treats his body like an instrument because he'll play. He'll use his hand and he'll play his Adam's apple like you would a violin.
That reminds me, actually. I actually think I have seen him doing that on TV. There's like a commercial. They showed him recording "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" or something on SpongeBob, and he kept getting the wrong notes or something, and then they showed him doing the laugh, and he went like,
Yeah, exactly. And that's funny because I think, does he sit at home at night and just play with what's going to make different sounds? He probably does. I don't know.
Do you? Do you do? If you're going in. Let's say you're going in tomorrow to record for one of the shows, whatever show you might be working on. Will you, would you this evening get in front of the mirror and practice the voices, or maybe making the faces, or go through the whole thing, or how do you prepare?
Well, I probably wouldn't do it in front of a mirror because then I would embarrass myself, and then I would.
Okay.
But I do, we get the script beforehand. We get the script usually the night before we record. So I would sit down with the script and go through it and make my notes of oh, I want to make sure that the character makes a sound for jumping here or laughing there, all those kinds of notes. And then I would probably go through and rehearse just if there was something out of the ordinary, like snoring, I might play around with different snore sounds and what I think is going to be funny, so that when I go in to record, I can give the director some options. Yeah, so I probably sound like a lunatic when I'm sitting here at night by myself going through scripts.
Rachel, do you have anything you want to ask?
I actually still have a couple questions left.
All right, go right ahead.
I was online, and I noticed that Patrick Stewart and Frank Welker have been voices on Jimmy Neutron. Did you enjoy working with them?
Yes, unfortunately, I didn't get to meet Patrick Stewart. He was too busy, and he recorded separately. But Frank always comes in and records with us, and he is the nicest man. Not only the nicest man, but he's so insanely talented. For those of you who don't know, Frank Welker specializes in animals and characters that are creatures. And he just blows my mind. Like if the director says, you know what, we need a clam, he'll come up with something that he thinks a clam would sound like. It's really cool.
Has he ever done the Scooby-Doo thing for you guys?
No, I'll have to bug him next time.
Rachel was very excited to see online that he was the voice of Scooby-Doo. I think that's what.
I knew he was the voice of Scooby-Doo. I just couldn't believe he was on Jimmy Neutron. And
he's just crazy talented. Yeah.
Carolyn, Mr. Showtime is in the web chat that accompanies the show when we do it live, and he had another question. He wondered if you plan to voice Sandy until the end of time.
That would be yes.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Showtime, as long as they'll let me, I will voice her.
Now, I saw on IMDB.com that they credit you with 34 or 37 episodes. Is that a correct number?
No.
It seemed a little. I didn't think so.
No, and actually, my little pet peeve with IMDb.
Yeah.
A lot of information on there isn't correct at all. It has personal information that's not correct. It has career information that's not correct. And I know they probably do the best that they can.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's not. Not all right.
Do you know how many episodes of each of the shows that you've done?
Gosh, I have no idea. I've never gone back and counted, but it's far more. I mean, next year, will be our 10th year on the air.
Right.
So,
isn't that amazing?
It's crazy.
Well, I mean,
so it's far more than 34 episodes.
That's what I thought. I mean, it just didn't. The number just didn't. It didn't make any sense, which is why I thought I'd ask. By the way, I have to tell you, here's another comment from the web chat. Jalen, Ash, and Stacy write, "Woo! Sandy rocks."
Woo! Thanks, guys. Yeehaw!
And Mr. Showtime wants to know if your Wikipedia entry is somewhat correct.
No.
No,
that one's even worse because anyone can put in anything anytime. The only one that I think that one's right. I haven't looked at it honestly, so I don't know today because it changes all the time. But I think that one, at least the birth date and stuff, is right.
Oh, okay.
It's not right on IMDb.
Do you have favorite episodes of SpongeBob and Jimmy Neutron where, obviously I'm guessing it would be an episode where your character got a little more airtime, got featured a little better?
Right, I do. Probably my favorite episode of SpongeBob at the moment is still the Texas episode, which was a season or two ago. It's hard for me to even keep straight. But that was the one where they let her do a lot of singing, and that was really fun for me. Even though Sandy's not the best singer in the world, I had a lot of fun.
I don't suppose you'd care to recall a verse from that?
Oh, let me think. All right. Wish I was back in Texas, The ocean's no place for squirrel.
That was great. Thank you.
Sure.
I know. I feel terrible putting you on the spot, but you know.
No, it's okay. It is my job. I just still get shy and embarrassed. All these years later, I still do.
Well, and the ladies in the web chat say, "Oh my God, that episode rocked."
Oh, thank you.
Rachel, do you have another question?
You play two super smart scientific characters, Cindy and Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you sometimes have no idea what you're talking about?
That's a great question, too. Usually on SpongeBob, I do have an idea. Every once in a while on Jimmy Neutron, they would throw something in there that I'd have to say, excuse me, what does that mean? What's that word? But I'm not embarrassed to ask. I'll just put it out there.
Yeah.
You know. Because they tried. Huh?
I was going to say, you know what would be a great idea? Rachel, tell me what you think of this. What if the guys who do Big Bang Theory wrote a character named Cindy and had Carolyn come on and play her in Cindy's voice?
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be cool. I agree with you. Can Mr. Media make that happen?
Well, you know, curiously enough, Bill Prady, who created that show, was on Mr. Media a few months ago. Maybe we could get the word to him.
Okay.
So cool.
That would be. That'd be very cool.
Well, let me remind our listeners that they are welcome to call in and ask a question or make a comment. If you've got something you'd like to say politely to Carolyn Lawrence, the voice of Cindy Vortex on The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Sandy Cheeks on SpongeBob Squarepants, or Orel on Moral Orel, give us a call, 646-595-3135. Now, I have to be honest. Rachel, of course, has not seen Moral Orel. I have not. It's a failing on my end. Because it's on so late at night, maybe there's a few other people who have not. Tell us a little bit about that show and that character.
Well, the first thing is that it's the first show or job that I've had that my mom has not been a huge fan of.
Oh, really?
So that was a first, because it is edgy and controversial, and that's why we air at midnight.
Right.
It's a show. Orel is a really good kid who wants to live correctly according to the Bible and the teachings. And unfortunately, sometimes as hard as he tries, he gets confused and makes a mess of things. That's probably the simplest way to explain it.
I see.
But it's a difficult show for a lot of people because it does deal with religion and a lot of different opinions about a lot of different religions. And so if somebody's sensitive to that, they might not be a fan.
Do the producers of the other two shows that you're featured on regularly, did they have any objection to you being acting and providing a voice to a show like that, or do they feel, well, it's a voice and it's not the same thing as if you were
right? It's a character. It's not the same thing. Being an actress, you accept whatever work you can or that you enjoy. And I actually really enjoy playing Orel because he's a fascinating character to me. But no, they don't have any. And quite honestly, hypothetically, if they did, then they would have to pay me to be exclusive.
Right.
And, that's probably not going to happen.
Not quite willing to do that, are they?
Not so much. But I think that's a great show. I mean, I know, like I said, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. But I think it's funny, and I think it's done in an intelligent way, even if it is off-kilter humor.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm proud of it. And I also think that show, because it's stop-motion animation, which is like claymation.
It's like Davy and Goliath, isn't it? Exactly.
It's that process, and that's fascinating to me because I hadn't ever worked on a show that was done that way, and those artists are they blow my mind. They're so amazing.
Now, do you, Mr. Showtime is still with us, and he's wondering if you watch any of the other Adult Swim shows.
Yes and no. I've checked some of them out. A lot of them aren't my cup of tea, so I can't blame anyone if we're not somebody else's.
Right.
You know, I do like Robot Chicken because I know Seth and I think he's hilarious, and so that's fun. And I keep bugging him because I want to be on it, but it hasn't happened yet.
I know the one. Well, I used to be a big Space Coast to Coast fan, and I did like Harvey Birdman.
Yeah, I like Harvey Birdman. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And I am now going to make a plan of catching and probably recording Moral Orel because I feel like I've let you down here, not being
no, just if it offends you, I'm sorry already.
Me? God,
yeah.
It doesn't. It does not offend me, but it's not a show I think Rachel's quite ready for.
No.
Here's another question from the web chat.
Yes.
Has Reality Check wants to know, has there been a character that inspired you to become a voiceover artist?
Huh. No, because I fell into being a voiceover artist, so it wasn't. It didn't happen through hearing something else and thinking, "Wow, I could do that for a living," you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of characters out there that I am inspired by now, like Bart Simpson. I think Nancy Cartwright just did such a crazy great job with him. And I even like Rocky back from Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Oh, yeah.
Classic. Oh,
Rocky,
and you know who else I met recently? I met Lucille Bliss. Do you know Lucille?
No, what did she do?
She was the original Smurfette, I believe. And if she's listening, I'm so sorry, Lucille, but I believe she's in her 80s.
Uh-huh.
And she's still working.
Wow.
And I find that inspiring.
Well, it does seem to be a line of work that you can do for a long, long time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hope that, because they're planning a Smurf movie right now.
I've heard that, yeah.
That I hope that they'll give Lucille, I hope she gets to work on it.
I know Rachel and her mom and I love to listen to old-time radio shows, particularly the Great Gildersleeve and the guy who played him, Harold Perry. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting to learn that show went off the air, I guess, about 1950 or so, 49, 50. But Harold Perry did cartoon voices into the 60s and 70s. I guess up until the time he died, probably in the early 80s.
Wow.
And it was just kind of fun to think about that. We've got a couple more questions here from the web chat.
Yeah, I was looking at the web chat myself, and I'm not very good with technology, or I would get in there and write to people too. Hi, everybody, I am reading.
Oh, wow, that's great. You are a first. In 18 months of doing the show as a podcast, you are the first guest who has actually figured out how to look at the web chat. So thank you. That's great.
Oh, sure.
So you can see the questions here. Mr. Showtime wants to know, what were your favorite cartoon shows back in the day, if any?
The day. I like the classics, like Tom and Jerry. Or Bugs Bunny.
We have a big Tom and Jerry fan on the phone here with me. That would be Rachel.
Oh, really?
That show is so funny.
It's so funny. That's part of why I was so excited to do that show I was telling you about, the Fish and Chips.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like Tom and Jerry. It's just good race around crazy humor.
Yeah.
And that's fun.
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
What was your favorite Tom and Jerry episode that you remember?
Gosh, I don't know. I wish I could remember. What's the name of the dog in the doghouse?
Butch?
Butch.
Spike?
Was it Spike? Or Butch?
Spike, I think.
Spike? Okay. I just liked when they always messed with him. For some reason, those were my favorites.
Yeah. Actually, I was watching one the other day.
Mm-hmm.
It was the one where Jerry kept hiding from Tom near Spike and his little son.
Right.
every time Tom went over there, he would somehow wake, like, Sun up, and then I would, like, really get mad.
Right. Right. Everything about that show was well done.
Oh, yeah.
The music was so fun, and the animation was so neat, and was well written. Great show.
Rachel has an animation, has a cell from the show in her bathroom that has Jerry is taking a bath, and Tom looks in, and Jerry gets all, got to cover up.
Like Tom has this napkin on his head over
right.
those gigantic pink bumps that come out of their heads.
Right. Oh, what a great piece of art. That's really neat.
Now, I wanted to ask you about the voice of, you mentioned Nancy Cartwright doing Bart Simpson. You also work with the voice of Jimmy Neutron, who I was surprised to learn, I didn't know, Debbie Derryberry is, oh my goodness, it's a girl.
Right. Yeah, most shows with a lead little boy is played by a woman. So is Timmy Turner on Fairly Odd Parents.
Oh, Timmy's a girl, a woman also.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think that's because if they hire you to do a show, they're hoping that it'll go 10 years, like SpongeBob, and they're worried if they hire a boy that their voice will change.
That's true.
Wow.
So if they stick with an adult woman, they know they're good to go. And a lot of adult men who play kids play phenomenal character kids, but they're not necessarily getting that sound that they want for the lead boy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you think there's any hope for the character that I did to open the show, Aunt Ida? Do you think,
Bobby, give me some things, Bobby.
Hey, Dad, now I'm serious. Stop. Please, Dad, please.
It's my wife does not find me amusing, but anytime I do that voice, she just falls down laughing.
I think she should have her own show. Maybe she can have a little animation segment on your Mr. Media.
We'll have to work on that. That's a great idea.
She can take some questions.
That is a great idea.
I bet she has different opinions than you.
Oh, I bet she does. Now, before I embarrass my daughter anymore, Rachel, would you like to ask another question?
Yes, I would. What is the funniest thing that's ever happened to you?
The funniest thing that's ever happened to me in the whole world? Or the funniest thing that's ever happened to me, like, in recording?
Whichever you think is funnier.
Let me think about funny. That can be a daily basis kind of event. What's funny? I did, and I won't say who she was, but I did record a show once with a woman, and like I said, we're in the booth together, and so I was opposite from her. I was looking at her. Her mic was directly across from my mic. And we were on a phone patch, which means the creator and the person directing it was in a whole another state. So the person who was directing couldn't see us. They could only hear us. And I was trying to do this scene, and in the middle of my scene, she got down on the ground and started doing all these crazy, like, stretches, and her skirt was over her head, and she's, like, doing all this wacky. And I got the giggles really bad, and I couldn't contain myself. And the people on the other end, they had no idea what my problem is. They had no idea why I couldn't get my act together. And I didn't want to say, well, gosh, she's being, distracting. So, but it was horrible. I had to giggle so bad. You know when you have tears coming out of your eyes? I was trying so hard not to laugh.
That happened to me once, but I couldn't contain myself either. I started crying and laughing at the same time because my math teacher last year, she used to be a nun, and it was at a talent show, and these really weird boys started doing, like, they did this song dance thing, and in the middle of the song she went up there and started dancing with them.
Oh.
I really couldn't stop crying, laughing, whatever it was. It was just so hilarious.
But there's nothing better than that in life. Isn't that the best feeling?
Yeah.
Like when you're that far gone with laughter, that's the best.
You really will never forget it.
No.
It's so funny.
No.
Now, Carolyn, on SpongeBob, besides Tom Kenny, one of the actors that you work with is, and I'll probably butcher the poor man's name, but I want to say Bill Fagerbakke?
Yeah, I think it's actually Fagerbakke. But even I get nervous. It's okay.
I'm just curious about him. He when he was on Coach with, Jerry Van Dyke, he played opposite against. Neither one of them was actually the star of the show, but he had a scene on there where he and Jerry Van Dyke were like, their hands are covered with chocolate cake, and they couldn't, for the life of them, open a door to get out of a room. They'd locked themselves in a room, and Coach, it's Craig T. Nelson, comes up to them and opens the door, and he looks at them like they're just complete idiots. And I think it's Bill who looks at him and says, "We're not imbeciles, you know?"
Mm-hmm.
And if you saw it, I mean, it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen on TV. I just kind of wondered, Dauber, yes, thank you, reality check. Was he? Is he fun to work with, or is he kind of a serious guy?
Oh no, not at all. He's very sweet and very fun, and easygoing and funny. Funny as all get out. You know, we actually, the whole cast did a short film. One of the writers on the show, his name is Mr. Lawrence, and he also plays Plankton. Yeah, he shot a short film, and I wish, now see, he's going to be mad at me that I can't remember the name of it. But it's probably on YouTube if you search, like, SpongeBob cast.
Really?
Yeah, where we played live action characters. And Bill is so funny in that. That's going to make me crazy. I can't think of the name. See, isn't that awful? It's like telling a joke and not remembering the punchline.
I am, let me see. I'm looking to the site, the IMDB site, and see if it's listed here. Although now that we've talked about them, Mr. Lawrence.
I know what it is. It's called Don't Speak.
Oh.
Just took me a minute.
All right. Do you?
Yeah.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying if everybody wanted to see what we actually look like, we're all in that as us, kind of.
I will write that down. Don't speak. Let's say. Do you socialize with other people who do what you do, or can you, is your preference to get as far away from them as possible at the end of the day?
It's somewhere in the middle. We're such a small community. The people who do animation, animators, animation writers, animation voice talent, it's a very small pool of people. So we all tend to work with the same group over and over and know each other quite well. Mm-hmm. So yes, we do hang out and we do things. But it's also hard if you're working all day and auditioning all day or taking meetings or whatever that's all vocal. At the end of the day, a lot of times I want to come home and I don't want to talk to anybody. I get a little talked out. So it completely depends. But we're really lucky because our community, we're just, I don't know, it's different. For some reason it's so different than the on-camera actors. We're just tighter. Maybe that's because there's fewer of us. I don't know. It's nice.
Now, Jimmy Neutron and SpongeBob have both been featured in motion pictures.
Right.
I wonder if there are any plans to do more?
Well, we would love it. The actors would like to see that happen, but I don't know of any plans. I know that they talk from time to time about doing another SpongeBob feature, but it hasn't ever come together. But who knows? It might one day.
Well, and there's the SpongeBob Confidential thing that's showing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that is pretty new.
Yeah, we do a lot of specials that are mini movies, for TV. But as far as doing something for the big screen, I don't know, because that took 2 years to make.
Mm-hmm.
So that was 2 years where we couldn't be in production on the show.
Oh, my. Wow.
Wow.
So if we decided to do a feature again, they would have to plan it out way in advance as to how to handle that again.
You know, I just remembered that there was a Jimmy Neutron ride at Universal Studios. I don't know if it's still there.
Yes.
But that was fun.
Well, you know what's so disappointing? I was just there in Florida last week. I was in Orlando for my grandmother's 90th birthday party.
Wow.
And I took my whole family, my niece and nephew and everybody, to Universal Studios. And the wait was 90 minutes.
Oh.
So I didn't get to ride the ride.
Oh, you've never been on it?
No.
Ah.
It was so ridiculous. I kept coming back by, like, is it shorter? No. Is it shorter? No.
Yeah.
And
it was long for us, too.
You didn't do your Hollywood prerogative and say, I am Sandy Cheeks.
Oh, my gosh. Never. Oh, I can't even imagine. That would be hilarious, though.
Oh,
no.
but you didn't get to ride your own ride? That doesn't seem right.
No, I didn't.
God. That just doesn't seem fair.
I thought so, too, but I didn't know what to do about it. But hopefully I'll get to go back at another time.
Well, it's a great ride.
I was excited, though. I went to the Nickelodeon Hotel and checked that out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still such a geek. It doesn't matter how many years the shows have been on. I still get so excited. Like, on the side of the building, there's a huge Sandy. And I was like a little kid. Look, she's there.
We have been there. We did our stay there, didn't we, Rach?
Yes, we have. That was fun.
Oh, was it? I'd like to go back. I'd like to stay there with my niece and nephew. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah, I think you'd enjoy it. Let me give out our phone number one last time as we're winding down here. If you've got a question for Carolyn Lawrence, the voice of Cindy Vortex on The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, Sandy Cheeks on SpongeBob Squarepants, and Orel on Moral Orel, give us a call right now. Only if you're listening live, by the way. Give us a call, 646-595-3135. We'd love to hear from you, but time is running out. Rachel,
yeah, you can ask me anything. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's all right.
Well, I do have a question, but I've already called in, so that saves time. I actually have a question. What's it like to work with Tom Kenny and Debbie Derryberry?
Oh, they're really fun. Well, like I was saying, our community is so little that I'm really lucky. In most jobs, all the adults listening out there, in most jobs, you have at least one person that's kind of like right? Usually in the office, you have one that everybody's like, oh, gosh, that person. But we don't have any. Tom is hilarious. Debbie couldn't be lovelier. Debbie's also a musician. She started recording children's songs, and she's been putting out children's albums. They're really fun.
Wow. Well, you probably see this, but Reality Check has another question for you from the web chat. And I don't know if Reality Check is a man or a woman. So the question is, how long does it take to do an episode of either show?
Great question. It takes us 4 hours to record each 11-minute segment. So most SpongeBob's and Jimmy Neutron, they put 2 episodes together to fill out the half hour.
Right.
So it would take us 4 hours to do each 11-minute piece.
And how recently have you been in production on any of the 3 shows, really?
We're still in production on SpongeBob. We never seem to end. Yay! Jimmy Neutron, it's been a while. They stopped production, and they still have episodes they haven't aired. So wow. I don't know that we'll be coming back or not. We might not be coming back.
Oh, bummer.
It's hard to say because, like Fairly Odd Parents, they took 2 years hiatus, and then they just started up again. Mm-hmm. So with Jimmy, I don't know. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they'll randomly just call up and we'll get to go in.
And what about Moral Orel?
Moral Orel, we just finished. We just finished with our 3rd season, and I don't believe we're coming back at all.
Oh.
But they are going to start airing our whole show over again from the beginning.
Oh, well, that's good.
So that's fun. And actually, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, so everybody out there can cross their fingers and toes for me. I'd really like to see a moral oral feature happen. So that is being discussed.
All right, Rachel, cross your fingers, cross your toes. Let's do this for Carolyn.
Thank you.
Okay. And so at the moment, SpongeBob is the one of the three that's in production, and then you've done the pilot for Fish and Chips.
Right.
And who was that done for? Or was it just done by a production company or done for a network? Or
it was done by a company called Sam G Animation in Korea. They are kind of like the Korean version of Pixar.
Okay.
Their work is just so beautiful, but we are waiting to see what network here in America would pick it up.
Okay. So we don't know if it's been picked up anywhere outside of the U.S. yet either.
No.
Oh. Okay.
But I can't imagine it wouldn't be with Mr. Wayne Knight. Come on.
Now, is this the big Wayne Knight or is this the skinny Wayne Knight? Because he's been both in recent years. Because he was on Third Rock from the Sun. From the Sun. Third Rock. What the hell was it called?
No, you're right.
Third Rock.
Yeah,
okay.
Right? Now I'm It is the more fit and healthy Wayne Knight.
Oh, good. Good for him.
Yeah. And he had just gotten back from Hawaii, and I was so jealous. He was all tan and relaxed. I didn't think that was fair.
Well, someday we'll all get to go to Hawaii.
Okay.
All right. Well, Rachel, do you have any final question for Carolyn before we let her depart?
No, not really.
That's amazing, Carolyn. You've managed to answer all of a almost 12-year-old girl's very many questions.
And then she'll hang up and she'll be like, "Oh no, I did have another one."
Well, let me tell you, folks, you can learn more about Carolyn Lawrence if you visit her website. It is Carolyn, Carolyn, Lawrence, LAWRENCE, Carolyn Lawrence, solid.com. And, of course, don't ever miss an episode of SpongeBob or Jimmy Neutron or Moral Oral. And watch for Fish and Chips, hopefully coming to a channel near us all very soon. Rachel, I'll let you say goodbye.
Okay. I have something. Hang on. Wait.
Hello.
Hi.
We just as Rachel was saying goodbye, the power in our house went out.
Oh no.
So if everyone's wondering what happened there, I'm trying to get the computer to come back up, but fortunately.
Oh no, I wonder if I could see, this is where it would be great if I could get on the blog.
Well, I'm hoping that everyone can still hear us, even though I don't have the computer up in front of us. But Carolyn, we really we enjoyed the hour with you. We really appreciate your time, and I know I know your voice by heart because Rachel is almost 12, has been watching SpongeBob and Jimmy Neutron since they came on the air, and is a huge fan. A huge fan.
My friend Emily is like the biggest fan in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, tell Emily I said hi.
Okay.
We'll do that.
She has like SpongeBob pajamas and everything.
Oh, really? So does my mom.
Oh, does she really?
Yeah, she's hardcore. She's a hardcore fan.
Yeah. And I have this cute little plush SpongeBob.
Well, that's fun. And I wish you all the best with your acting, Rachel.
Thank you.
I think that's really fun. If there's ever anything I can see or listen to, let me know.
You know what? Rachel can be seen on YouTube.
Yes,
Okay.
I'll pass that on to you through back channel. I don't want to give that out over the air.
Yeah. No, that'd be great. I'd love to see it.
All right. Well, listen, Carolyn, I won't hold you up. Thank you so much again for joining us. Sorry about the little technical outage at the end here, but we all know what happens.
I have one.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys have a great day. Good luck with your fuse box or whatever it is.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Carolyn, very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, folks. And Rachel, thank you for being a wonderful co-host today.
Thank you too, Dad.
And folks, for dozens more celebrity and media newsmaker interviews, surf over to our main website, www.mrmedia.com. That's where you can listen to my earlier conversations with the stars, writers, and producers of Star Wars, The Clone Wars, Heroes, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Army Wives, 24, The Big Bang Theory, Bad Santa, Tell Me You Love Me, The Dark Knight, and Will Eisner's The Spirit, and many more. And please think about writing an online review of Mr. Media, casting a vote, or marking Mr. Media as one of your favorites, whether you listen on Blog Talk Radio, Digital Journal, Blueberry, Zencast, Odeo, Kindle, or iTunes. And thanks for joining us today. I really, as always, appreciate you taking a little time out of your schedule to spend it with Mr. Media. I think we're going to dispense with the end music today, since I don't even know if we're still on the air. But thanks, everybody, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.